Hello there, this is the World News 12 on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. I am Solomon FM, and here are our top stories. Reactions continue to trail security comments made by Edo State Governor Monday Okpebolo. Nigerians spend over $3.6 billion annually on foreign health care under Buhari. Retired police officers protest on the rain at National Assembly Gate. Doctors to begin nationwide strike Thursday. Senate warns Natasha to desist from forcefully resuming legislative duties. Enugu crashes banned a tariff by 49 naira per kilowatt hours. On our international scene, Israeli forces killed 115 Palestinians in Gaza as 19 people starved to death. And in sport, 45-year-old Venus Williams to end 16-month layoff in Washington. Those are our top stories. Details coming up shortly. As reactions continue to trail security comments made by Edo State Governor Monday Okpebolo, activist Aisha Yousefo has come out to defend 2023 Labour Party's presidential candidate Peter Obi. The Edo State Commissioner for Information and Communication, Paul Ohambamo, had accused Obi of hypocrisy and disrespect for lawful protocol, citing the past incident in 2013 where Obi allegedly detained former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai for 48 hours in Anambra State. Ohambamu's remarks come after Obi's recent visit to Edo State, which the commissioner claimed violated security protocols and stirred unnecessary controversy. Aisha Yousefo has refuted that claim, saying Obi did not detain El-Rufai, SSS did, with orders from above.
It's so sometimes I say, oh my goodness, 1.5 million, 15 million. It was 15 million that he gave, right?
Yeah.
And he gave it. We usually give all this check, this blown up big check that they normally give. He doesn't go with cash and start. He wasn't sharing money to the students. He gave the school, and he had been there before. He gave the school. He does this in a lot of places. There was nothing that had to do with him. So the Edo State governor, he needs to now tell us who are these people that are there, because their life should matter to him. It shouldn't be something that he's going to drop, by the way that he's going to drop. And then there was also something in the statement that they made that were released by the Edo State government based on the threat that the Edo State governor had made to Mr. Peter Obi, where he was saying that, he's not like Mr. Peter Obi who got Mr. Malam Nasir El-Rufai detained or arrested in Anambra State. And that statement is very it's not factual. Mr. Peter Obi never arrested former governor of Kaduna State. He was arrested in Anambra State, and he was arrested by DSS. And the order from above, from the center, it never had anything to do with Mr. Peter Obi. So the Edo State governor, I think people now should ask him, who are these people that are there? Because he can't just keep dropping news that are fake, news that are not factual, and just for him to get away with it because he feels that it's not going to be questioned by people or the authorities.
Edo State Governor Monday Okpebolo had on Friday warned Peter Obi against entering the state without security clearance. Obi visited Benin City on July 7 and donated 15 million naira to St. Philomena, a hospital school of nursing sciences, for the completion of projects in the school. But the governor condemned Obi's visit to the state, insisting that his visit coincided with resurgence of violence in the state. Nigerians spent at least $29.29 billion on foreign medical expenses during the 8 years of former President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, according to a report. This translates to an annual spending of about $3.6 billion during the review period. This is according to detailed analysis of data from the Central Bank of Nigeria's quarterly statistical bulletins. The sum recorded under the health-related and social services category reflect cumulative outflows of foreign exchange from June 2015 to May 2023, precisely covering the duration of Buhari's two-term presidency, which spanned from May 29, 2015 to May 28, 2023. The data reviewed shows the depth of Nigeria's dependence on foreign healthcare services, with the CBN's record showing a year-on-year movement of funds abroad for medical purposes amid economic downturns or dollar shortages at home. It also highlights the irony that despite repeated declarations by the administration to revamp the health sector and reduce capital flight, health-related foreign exchange outflows remained significant and even spiked dramatically during the later years of Buhari's presidency. A close review of the spending pattern shows that the first year of Buhari's presidency recorded the single highest amount spent on medical tourism. Between June 2015 and May 2016, Nigeria spent $7.81 billion on health-related services abroad. Amid rain, some retired police officers on Monday staged a protest at the entrance gate of the National Assembly in Abuja. The protesters were demanding their removal from the contributory pension scheme. The demonstrators, comprising elderly ex-police personnel, held placards and chanted solidarity songs as they stood in the rain, insisting that their welfare and dignity had been neglected for too long. Speaking during the protest, a retired Chief Superintendent of Police, CSP Manir Lawal, retired, called on the government to exit police retirees from the pension scheme, which he described as exploitative and unjust. Despite the rain, the retirees stood firm, vowing not to leave until their concerns were addressed by the leadership of the National Assembly. Security operatives were seen monitoring the protest to prevent any breakdown of law and order. Meanwhile, as the 21-day ultimatum it issued to the federal government draws to a close on July 23, the Nigerian Medical Association has warned it will ground medical services nationwide if the government fails to meet its demands. Its president, Bala Audu, who confirmed this in an exclusive interview, noted that the association was prepared to take decisive action should the government fail to respond adequately to its demands. Professor Audu stressed that the association's demands were critical to the survival of Nigeria's healthcare system and the welfare of medical professionals across the country. The NMA had on July 2 issued an ultimatum in protest against a circular from the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission to revise allowances for medical and dental officers in the federal service, public service, which the doctors kicked against for violating prior agreement. The association issued a 21-day ultimatum to the federal government to withdraw the circular and meet its other demands to avert industrial action in the health sector. According to him, the circular contains provisions that were not mutually agreed upon and which undermines the remuneration and welfare of medical professionals. Professor Audu disclosed that the NMA had been engaging with the federal government to avert a crisis. The NMA president expressed concern that time was running out, adding that unless the meeting was held within the next few days, the association may be left with no other alternative but industrial action. The Senate has warned the suspended lawmaker representing Kogi Central Senatorial District, Natasha Akpote-Duagan, to desist from forcefully resuming her legislative duties on Tuesday. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Yemi Adaramodu, gave the warning in a statement. While insisting that no valid court order mandated her immediate recall, Adaramodu said the Senate remained committed to due process and rule of law. The clarification followed media report quoting the embattled lawmaker as saying she would return to the Senate on Tuesday, allegedly based on a judgment by Justice Binta Nyako of the Federal High Court in Abuja. However, Adaramodu said the Senate had previously issued two public statements after the court ruling and the release of the certified true copy of the enrolled order, making it clear that no positive or mandatory directive was issued against the Senate regarding her recall. The Senate further noted that the same court found Akpotiuduaghan guilty of contempt and imposed penalties, including a 5 million naira fine payable to the federal government and a mandatory apology in 2 national newspapers and on her Facebook page, a directive that has reportedly not been complied with. The Enugu State Electricity Regulatory Commission (EERC) has issued a new tariff to the utility and succeeded Enugu Electricity Distribution Company (EEDC) Main Power Electricity Distribution Limited for electricity distribution in the state, reviewing the electricity cost to band A from 209 naira per kilowatt hour to 160 naira per kilowatt hour. The new tariff price takes effect from August 1, 2025. This was contained in the Commission's order entitled Tariff Order for Main Power Electricity Distribution Limited 2025, issued at the weekend. It said its decision was cost reflective, insisting that the tariff must reflect the power generation subsidy by the federal government for the benefit of electricity consumers. EERC predicated its action on the Enugu State Electricity Law 2023, which empowers the Commission to regulate the activities of operators and power generation, transmission, and distribution in an exclusively for the state. The law signed by the governor of Enugu State, Peter Mbah, in September 2023 is under the 2023 constitutional amendment, which firmly established the legislative authority of the state on electricity matters within their state. This was followed by the passage of the Electricity Act 2023, which appealed the Electric Power Sector Reform Act 2024, which repealed the Electric Power Sector Reform Act 2005 and introduced major changes such as the separation of distribution and supply operations and empowered states to regulate their electricity markets. It is now time for us to join in Kamian John from our Abuja studio for more news.
These are the latest developments in the nation's capital. I am Kamian John. The Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare has trained health leaders and managers in the Federal Capital Territory on the development of smart, budget-linked, and data-driven annual operational plans. The 4-day capacity building session, which ended on Saturday in Abuja, is part of the National Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative aimed at strengthening health systems and improving planning and leadership. Mandate Secretary of the FCT Health Services and Environment Secretariat, Dr. Adedolakbo Fasawe, described the training as a major milestone in building a 2026 annual operational plan that aligns with the FCT budget and enables access to funds through disbursement-linked indicators. Over 70 senior health officials, program managers, and planning officers from the FCT area councils and partner organizations participated in the training. Dr. Fasawe called the initiative a bold step towards strengthening the health system and attracting donor support through clear government-aligned planning frameworks. The Federal Capital Territory chapter of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, is seeking divine strength to navigate the growing challenges facing the media industry. This was the focus at the 2025 Council Week service held at the World Harvest Ministries in Jikwe, Abuja. Delivering a sermon titled Seeking Deliverance from the Ardent Troubles of Life, Archbishop Leonard Kawas urged journalists to remain spiritually alert and courageous, reminding them of their divine authority to influence society positively. He cautioned against succumbing to fear, false prophecy, and the cruelty of the devil. The interfaith service drew participants from various religious backgrounds, reflecting the unity of purpose within the NUJ FCT family. Chairperson of the Press Week Organizing Committee, Evelyn Onyilo, described the event as a moment of gratitude to God for sustaining the union and guiding its leadership. The chairman of the Abuja Municipal Area Council, Christopher Malkalagu, has condemned the recent demolition of properties in the Kasana community of the Federal Capital Territory by developer Oceanic Properties and Equilibrium Concepts. Speaking during an inspection of the area on Saturday, Malkalagu described the action as a grave injustice against the indigenous Bagi residents and vowed to seek legal redress on their behalf. The AMAC boss alleged that the demolition was carried out without notice, a court order, or any form of compensation. He appealed to President Bola Tinubu and the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike for immediate intervention. Mai Kalago also declared that no construction will be allowed on the disputed site until the affected residents are fully compensated and resettled. Meanwhile, the youth secretary of the community, Diko Genzi, described the demolition as traumatic, noting that residents have been left stranded with nowhere to go. And those are the developments in the nation's capital. I am Nkamion John.
That was Nkamion John reporting from the studios in the nation's capital, Abuja. You are currently listening to the World News at 12 right here on the Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We'll head straight to the analysis segment where I have Akim Malaolu, President of Yoruba Ronu Leadership Forum. Mr. Malaolu, thank you so much for joining us on the news at 12.
Listeners.
Okay, let's go to the first topic for discussion where Aisha Yusufu, reactions continue to trail security comments made by Edo State Governor, and of course activist Aisha Yusufu have come out to defend 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate. Edo State Governor Monday Okwebolo caused a stir at the weekend when he said Obi's security can't be guaranteed in Edo State if it comes without security clearance. How do you react to that, sir?
We are in a democracy, and in a democracy, threats are not allowed. The similar threat was made during the 2023 election in Lagos by a media aide to one of the presidential candidates, asking people not to come out to vote as citizens, and that if they do so, whatever consequences they reap, they should enjoy them. Also, it is now graduating. The Benue State governor said the same thing, that Obi should not visit Benue State without his clearance. Obi is a free citizen. He has the right to be anywhere in Nigeria in all 4 directions, north, south, east, and west. Now, when the governor of Edo State, Okpabolo, said his own, he even magnified his own ranting, making mockery of whatever Obi must have said about his own past. You see, democracy, like Socrates said, democracy will fall because it allowed everyone. We are seeing it clearly, not only at the state level, at the national level, at the executive level. The gangster behavior is now encroaching, or I would say is fast becoming bigger than democratic parties themselves. That is wrong. Peter Obi is a citizen. If we allow Okpobolo, Alia, and the media aide that said all of those nonsense in Lagos, if you allow this thing to continue, I'm sorry to say, democracy will fall. I'm sorry to say again, if this thing continues to magnify itself, democracy will do what? It will fall. Because we are expected to follow the Constitution. The Constitution stated clearly our freedom. Because somebody is the chief security officer of a state doesn't give him the power to exhibit that gangster behavior. They cannot say the same thing to Atiku. Yes, why Peter will be alone?
And when you also, come to see that he actually, went to Benin City for something good. I mean, he donated 50 million naira to a hospital, School of Nursing School Sciences, for example, to complete project in the school. That should, elicit praise, not condemnation. Why do you think this is?
You see, when a good man rises up to defend and protect the people, the first thing he does, such a good man will do, is to look at the problem areas which he could quickly assist. And he has been doing that nationwide, from Bowo to visiting the displaced people, to one nursing schools, not only nursing schools, virtually major educational centers have benefited from his kind-hearted manner of saying things. Such a leader will draw haters. But haters, whether they like it or not, they will become lovers. They will come to love him. Because when democracy is at the position of danger, they will call him to come and assist.
Does this also show what a huge threat Peter Obi is? Because he tends to be receiving lots of mudslinging from left, right, and center. I mean, there was even a controversy caused on X, where an APC chieftain say he hates Peter Obi, and this is one of so many mudslingings that have been coming this way. Do you think it's because he's a huge threat to the APC or even PDP come 2027?
Yes, indeed. Because number one, the permutation for winning election by APC has been altered in the north. It has been seriously altered. I repeat, altered in the north. So they have to look down south for their redemption. And in looking down south, the major threat in the south is Peter Obi. The followership is huge among even the Yoruba class. Because we voted for him in Lagos. We didn't vote for our own. We voted for Peter Obi in Lagos. I voted for him in Lagos. Because we should know characters and be able to pick out the ones that can protect us. Peter Obi is just one individual that can protect Nigerians. He prided himself as being honest. And I want to believe that, yes, we can use him. So he's a major opposition figure for all southern candidates, including Tinubu himself.
Unfortunately, we don't know what way he was swaying, because the ADC that we all thought it's going to be a coalition to bring him in, we have Atiku there, the ADC has been touted as an Atiku coalition, and Atiku's ambition is anything to go by. We don't think he's going to leave the floor for Peter Obi, which will make it difficult for him, because right now we don't know, will he going to contest under the ADC coalition, or will he's going to contest under the Labour Party. His presidential political figure right now is in the air.
Yes. ADC has formed his own manifestos. I've been reading them. Peter Obi only joined the coalition. He has not joined ADC.
Okay.
So he still has these two legs in Labour Party. So he cannot give conditions to ADC. The only thing that can happen in ADC, if sincerely, this is my own personal opinion, Obi should sit down with the coalition members, fashion out how they can wrest power from APC, because Tinubu must not be allowed to come back for second term. The economy is already ruined.
But with Atiku having
there's
a strong
nothing wrong
grip in ADC, do you think he will succeed in that?
Atiku has already stepped into Buhari's shoes. with those so-called 12 million votes. I told you they have blocked APC from accessing votes in the north. So Atiku now has a large followership in the north, just like Peter Obi. It's strength for strength. So what they can both do is to agree on a single tenure of six years. Anybody can wait. It doesn't have to be Atiku, it doesn't have to be Peter Obi, but they can reach a compromise. That is why we call it dialogue. To save the Nigerian people and Nigeria herself. Somebody must step down for someone.
Okay, because of time, let's go to the next topic for discussion, where Nigerians spent at least $29.29 billion on foreign medical expenses during the 8 years of former President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, according to a report. This translates to an annual spending of about $3.6 billion during the review. This is a huge money. What do you think about that report?
I saw the report, and we are still talking of economic development, which healthcare is also part of the infrastructures.
Now, this report is coming from, it's a detailed analysis from the Central Bank of Nigeria, by the way, the quarterly statistical bulletin. Under the bulletin, the data is titled Health-Related and Social Service Category, which means they have different categories in this bulletin. And this particular category, it's named the Health-Related and Social Services category, is where this story is coming from. $29.29 billion under Muhammadu Buhari's administration.
Yes. There was also a period when they spent lesser amounts during the COVID-19 lockdown. Yes. Immediately the COVID-19 lockdown was lifted, they unleashed new waves of demand for earth-related foreign forex. You see, it was even at that time also that the Interpol International came out openly that thousands of dollars are leaving Nigeria per second. So if they caption anything under health-related issues, are they truly health-related issues? Who did the investigation? Who found out that they were typically for health-related issues? You see, we have not been able to manage even our health issues. We have not been able to manage corruption. So anything could happen to the health issue spending in the name of health issues. But one thing is very certain. The infrastructural development in Nigeria, even then and now, are now in a state of doldrum.
Yeah,
they are dormant.
That's exactly what the report is saying, because what this means is that a lot of Nigerians travel outside of the country for health. Obviously, Muhammadu Buhari, led the way, because during his presidency, he spent quite a number of times, traveling to the UK for medical checkup. So it's the money that Nigerians spend going outside of the country for health-related issues is what amounts to this $29.29 billion.
Everything translates to one issue, that there is now stagnation in economic development. Economic development also involves health-related facilities. Yes, it's unfortunate if we are in a democracy and the dividends are not showing. Rather, everybody is looking for a way out of this country, at least to just get out. But now that America has closed its doors of true visa restriction, you see the demand for health-related issues will come down.
Well, there's still UK. After all, Buhari traveled to UK very often for medical.
United States of America is the first choice of our political leaders. They prefer their Ganduje has been flown abroad now, critical whatever, from what I read in some of the newspapers. It's unfortunate that we are doing less for our own country and doing more for the foreign countries. And very unfortunate.
And besides the restriction, of the US is people coming to stay in Nigeria, staying in the US rather. But of course, people coming to US for medical health, it's money going to the US government, so they can't stop that because the health and medical facilities in the US are making lots of money from people coming in. So that's exactly
the visa you are giving is 90 days. if your health did not improve within 90 days, you inform the authorities through the hospitals there, then they will give you extension. But the first visa they will give to you, from what we have seen, is 90 days, whether health related or visitation or anything. They believe that
be it as it may, even that 90 days is a lot of money from Nigerians going to the US medical
I
sector.
agree with you, but I'm not in government. Those in government are also part of those going out for medical tourism. But the multitude of our people, helpless millions, are left to they can't even buy Panadol. The sachet of paracetamol that was 50 kobo before, or 50 naira, is now 250 naira. It is as bad as that.
And this is coming, which of course is leading us to our next topic. This is coming where, you know, the medical doctors, Nigerian Medical Association, the 21-day ultimatum given to the federal government is drawing closer, and the National Medical Association has warned the federal government that if they don't accede to their demands, talking about welfare for medical practitioners across the country, the 21-day ultimatum will elapse, which of course is on July 23. And this is exactly what we're talking about. Why a lot of our politicians and Nigerian elites travel outside of the country for medical tourism. Medical doctors, on the other hand, are going through hell. You know, not being paid well, salaries, being owed, hospitals, no equipment for them to work properly, and one medical doctor is equal to 10,000 Nigerians.
Yes, it happened in Lagos during Fashola's period when doctors went on strike. And the president, who is now the president of Nigeria, Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, asked Fashola to sack all the doctors. Now he is the president. If the ultimatum, if the ultimatum they gave should lapse and they start the strike, let us see how President Tinubu will react to doctor strikes nationwide. Whether he will sack them or he will dialogue with them. Let us just wait and see how, because we have seen one of his reactions before between 2007 and 2008 years of Fashola, when he said he should sack all the doctors who are protesting. Let us see how he will react. The time will tell.
Okay, the next topic for discussion, obviously, is the Senate has warned the suspended lawmaker representing Kogi Central Senatorial District, Natasha Akpotio-Duagan, to desist from forcefully resuming her legislative duty on Tuesday. Now, Senator Natasha has vowed to resume the legislative duty Monday, that's tomorrow. And of course, the senators has warned, that all requirements have not been fulfilled for her to resume her legislative duty. How do you see this drama that's still unfolding between Natasha and the Senate leadership?
If the Senate leadership has not pronounced the court decision to be frivolous, Natasha can resume. Because it was a court decision, not Natasha's decision. And whatever is going to inhibit Natasha's decision to resume should come from the court. You see, I don't understand the type of leadership we have in Nigeria anymore. A court has made an order that the sentence passed on Natasha was too heavy, unconstitutional, so to say.
6 months.
Was frivolous. They should go to court and ask the court to vacate that decision. But to sit down in their own palace, it's like a club. I tell you, we are beginning to see hooliganism and gangsterism. Imagine triumphantly in a democracy. The Senate president, I assume, is a lawyer. You should know that when a court takes decisions, if you want to squash that decision, you go back to court, let the court make another order. Natasha has a right to resume. The court has granted her the right that all the decisions they took were inconsequential, were wrong.
Now, but the Senate is, saying that Natasha was fined 5 million naira, which he has not paid.
She appealed. She has appealed that court decision.
Now, she was supposed to make an apology on two national dailies and on her Facebook page, and the Senate says
she has appealed that decision also, against that decision also. So they cannot, you see, she has been law abiding, I must say this. The court fined her 5 million. She made an appeal against the decision of the court. If the court of appeal grants the same 5 million to President Akpabio, she has the right to appeal or to pay. Either way, something must go on. That is the rule of law.
So in other words,
in the case of resumption, the Senate cannot set itself against the court. They should not do so.
But they're now on a standstill because the Senate president is appealing the fact that Natasha have to resume, while Natasha, on the other hand, is appealing the 5 million naira fine and the fact that she has to apologize to national newspaper. So it's understand. I know you're not a medical practitioner, but sorry, a legal practitioner rather. But how do we go from here?
The law is a subset of sociology. Yes, the law does not exist on its own. It exists for the society. The society created the laws. So I am part of the society. I am a sociologist. The law is a subset of sociology. What we are saying is that in a democracy, the offices are distinguished from their occupiers. If the occupier doesn't fit that democratic institution, then we refer to them as square peg in a round hole. As it is today, the Senate leadership appears to be looking like a square peg in a round hole if they cannot understand what the law decides through the court.
Okay, so it's always a pleasure talking to you, Mr. Malolu. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Solomon. Thank you, listeners.
That was Akin Malolu, president of Yoruba Ronu Leadership Forum. And for a quick look at what's happening on the international scene, Israeli forces have killed at least 115 Palestinians across Gaza, including 92 people who were shot dead while trying to get food at the Zikim crossing in the north and 8 points in Rafah and Khan Yunis in the south. The killings came as Israel's continued saga of Gaza worsened a hunger crisis, with health authorities there announcing at least 19 deaths from starvation over the past day. In Zikim, Israeli forces shot at least 79 Palestinians, according to medical sources, as large crowds gathered there in the hopes of getting flour from a United Nations aid convoy. 9 more were killed near an aid point in Rafah, where 36 others had lost their lives just 24 hours earlier. 4 more were killed near a second aid site in Khan Yunis, according to the Palestinian Civil Defense. Israel's military acknowledged the attack, saying it had fired warning shots to remove an immediate threat posed on to the troops in northern Gaza. It did not, however, produce and provided evidence